the worth of what you have? Okay, you may not consider yourself smart, but do you know that there is something that you do better than anyone else, and with such ease? Whether it be fishing, art, singing, cooking, taking care of people, or even fixing computers, it doesn't matter what it is. If you do it with little to no effort, and you don't know where on earth that knowledge came from, let me shed some light on that for you, fam. You got that from God. That's your gift. It may seem insignificant to you, but in the right place, at the right time, just like a puzzle piece, it will bring the entire picture to light. Do you know the worth of what you have? Now, in the Bible, do you remember the woman who said to the prophet that all she had was a little bit of oil? And he said, go to your neighbors and borrow as many pots as you can, and from that little, keep pouring. And just as he said, she did. And only when they ran out of places to put the oil, that's when the oil stopped flowing. This pandemic has reinforced what my grandmother and my mother has taught me for years. Little is much when God is in it. Throughout my life, I was never a person who cared much about going out and chilling with friends or even shopping. I have lost a lot of people I consider to be friends because of that. And along the way, I have been called cheap many times. I've always felt like an outcast. Like there's just something not right about me, because no matter where I went, it just felt like, I was the odd man out. But it was all for a purpose. Those friends who went out a lot, I'm sure that they feel like a fish out of water since the pandemic hit. And those who used to say I was cheap, so many business places have closed and so many people have lost their jobs. They may not remember what they have said to me, but I can only imagine what they may be cutting down on. I have always said to them, there is a method to the madness, and maybe it has come to light now. And I guess you can say I was being prepared like Moses for such a time as this. I have talents, yes, but I have never considered these things a talent. I just looked at it as being, an introvert. When I tell people at home I am the barber, the hairdresser, the cook, cleaner, nurse, therapist, friend, homie, and the list goes on, they say it sounds like a lot. But like I've said in the beginning of this video, even though it may be small to you, others can see its value. And I couldn't see the value of what I did until this pandemic happened and schools and barbers closed. I have always been a homeschool teacher to my daughter, and before the pandemic hit, it wasn't looked at as the best. I have even been bashed by people and even asked if I was qualified enough to teach her. But when schools closed and online classes became a thing, everyone had no choice but to do as I did, which was homeschool. And I've even heard some parents didn't even want to go back to the old ways and send their children to school. They rather have their children at home with them because they feel like their children learned better one-on-one. I remember the days when I was having a conversation with a lady and then another woman joined in on the homeschooling conversation. And she said she was a teacher by trade. Oh my gosh, this woman drilled me about what I was teaching my child. Does it go by the curriculum that the government has set? I told her, somewhat yes. To diffuse the situation and ease some of the weight off of the conversation, basically off of me, I asked her what grade she teaches, and she said kids that are in their teens. She then proceeded to say that she can't teach children the age of my daughter and her son, which basically at the time was 5 to 6 years old. From the time she said that, I ended the conversation. Because though what I may be doing is considered small, when she had a conversation with my daughter, her critique before she found out she was homeschooled was, "Your daughter sounds bright for her age." What you may have or what you may be doing might send shockwaves to people you speak to, and because of their shortcomings, they might try to demean what you're doing, but keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. There is a reason why God gave you the wisdom, patience, love, and grace to do what you do with little to no effort. We all know by now that this life is unpredictable. And if what you've been doing never fit in before, I hope, just like me, who have been ridiculed, I hope that now, above all other times, the good Lord brings forth your talent as pure gold and shows the world that what they called nothing will now be what sustains you and your family, even in a pandemic. Moses was ridiculed, but in the end, he and his family survived that flood. The woman with a little bit of oil, in that pandemic, what she considered little turned out to be more than enough. It will always be more than enough when it is put in the right situation. Don't ever let anyone make you feel so out of it about what God has put within you that you begin to doubt your gifts. They may not know, but I hope by now you know the worth of what you have within you. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and smush that bell notification button so that you can get more videos from me. Alright, see you guys in the next one. Later.